Hey, so I wanna get into the race because a lot of the race I spent around you, and I thought that there was a lot of potential for to basically. I mean, I knew that you would be the guy to beat. You always are, right? So I want to get your thoughts on when you're about halfway through the race, when you're starting to see things play out, when you're seeing different strategies. Obviously, there were a couple other cars that were not on our strategy, and we were thinking, all right. Some people were telling me that Ryan Hunter-Reay could have won the race, maybe, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." But what were you thinking around halfway, like when you start to see things play out? Did you think, "Hey, this is it. We're going to have a shot at it"?
Yes, I thought we were on the right scenario, right? Like you are there, like top five, top six. It's still halfway, 80 laps to go, and you're like, okay, this is looking good. We still have like two stops to go, but we're off to a good start. But then you appeared, Malukas appears, and you guys start like going super fast. Like I was struggling to be at your pace, guys. Like and to move that fast. So I was like, man, we need to get our car a little bit better on just pure balance because I'm struggling. So when you struggle, you cannot save that much fuel because you're pushing more the throttle, you're wasting more the tires, and I was just struggling to beat you guys on strategy or on track. So I was like, man, it's gonna be tough. So at the middle of the race, I was like, man, I'm not looking very, very good. Like I was positioned well, but I didn't know if I had the tools I needed to fight with you guys.
What did you think was your biggest struggle balance-wise? Because the temperatures were very cold. The track temp was much cooler. And for me, at least, in our balance, I would say we were more free than we expected to. And a lot of people said, hey, some drivers I talked to said their car got pointy when it got cold. I know for us, we were definitely the first couple stops taking front wing out of the car. Were you feeling that or no?
No, complete opposite. Like
All
huge
right.
huge push. Out of two, out of four, like I was really struggling. Like with my bars, I finished with my rear bar at like P4.
Oh,
And on an
man.
oval, you never wanna.
That's aggressive.
You
That's
never want to
impressive.
go. You never want to go more than one or two on an oval
Yeah.
on the rear bar. You're like, I know it's there, but I don't want to touch it just in case. But I couldn't get that car to turn for some reason. Like, we also struggle a little bit on carb day with push. Like I was like, man, but suddenly we have a lot more push. So I don't know. We need to check why we were that off on balance. At the end, we got it very close, but I was still very pushy. Like the last 10 laps or 15 on the tires, I was like, man, struggling into four. I was like capping, just to make it rotate a little bit more. So yeah, that was my issue.
That's wild. Well, I mean, that just shows how difficult this event is, though. Everyone kind of has their own struggles, but if you just stay in the fight and you're there in the last stint, tell me about when you saw, because we were using those cars to save fuel, the Ray Hall
Yes.
cars, using some of the traffic to save fuel. But when did it remind you of when you finished second to Elio? Because this looked exactly the same to when Elio beat you to win his fourth, because there was traffic in front of him, and it was very hard to pass when you're fourth car in line or fourth or fifth car in line. Did that moment kind of click into your mind, like, I got to get Marcus anytime I can get him because I'm going to use these cars as essentially like a pick, like a block?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. But it was actually before Marcus. It was with Malukas. I saw that I was behind Malukas. He left pit lane 2 laps after me. I know my fuel number was like huge. I was like, man, we're done. Like we need a yellow or we need something because this is not going to be fun. And then I see Malukas in the distance being out of pit lane. And I'm like, man, he has more tires. He has more fuel. And he like, there's at least like 3 cars that can be in front, like in between us. And then I'm done. So I just went flat out, didn't listen to the fuel because they made no sense to just say fuel then, and tried to get a run on him. I got a run on him, like just barely. And then suddenly I saw Marcus leaving as well, like 4 laps after with better tires, better fuel. And I was like, man, this is going to be tough. But then when I saw Marcus, we saw the traffic cars, and I was like, okay, I'm second in the race, but I'm actually like fourth in line. This is just gonna get worse from here because the tires are giving up. You start getting like moments that you cannot really get runs. He still has a big toe on the straight, and I'm just not gonna be able to get past him. So yeah, Elio teach me that one. That's why I tried very early, and I was like trying the laps before. I was just trying to get a good timing out of 4 to try and be on the inside or on the outside, just to have a moment. And I finally got it. So I was like, man, I'm so happy I got that chance to pass him.
You nailed that. And I want to talk about one moment. I actually mentioned it to my spotter in the middle of the race, but there was one restart where you were in front of me. You almost were involved in a crash with Ed Carpenter. I had front row seats to potentially Ed Carpenter wiping Alex Palou out of the race. You guys actually made contact. I watched it happen. Ed Carpenter is in front of me, in front of us, because you got to the outside a little bit better than I did, and I was going to follow you because I wanted to go to the outside. I was like, we got to be on the outside. We got to
go. Yeah.
Got to go there because there was a ton of cars.
Yes.
And I still ended up passing like 12 cars on that restart, which was absurd, but it was helped because Ed moved you out of the way for me. Ed starts understeering up into you, and he actually makes contact with you. Did you have like quite a moment there? What were you thinking?
No, so actually I didn't have a moment. It was just like suddenly he cuts all my air. Suddenly, when you're like free, like there's nothing that you can do. You're just a passenger. And I was braking, downshifting to try and avoid it. And I couldn't do much. And I could see cars passing by. And I was like, no, I think you went past, Malukas went past, and somebody else went past. And I was like, I hope I don't crash. And then I finally got into the inside, into 2 to him. But I was so glad because that was a moment that we were like this to just crashing and creating a big mess.
I thought he literally just slid up into you just a bit, and I was like, oh, man.
I need
opened
to
up
check.
a door for me perfectly, but you guys definitely.
For you it was good.
Yeah, I told my spotter, I was like, hey, you make sure to tell Alex that good job not crashing back there. I don't think that message is probably shared with you, but I was like, I wanted to make sure that you knew that it was an impressive situation there. Your Indy 500 championship almost fell apart right there.
I agree.
It was crazy.
I agree. I'm glad that somebody saw that.
I did, and I'm going to try to find the onboard clip of it because it was really exciting.